When I ask an American what is the first thing they think of when I say lottery, their answer: free money. But the term lottery has evolved into so much more than that. And today I will be discussing why the NBA lottery is absolutely rigged. But before we get on with the video, how about y'all take a quick pause to smash the like button while clicking subscribe with notifications on, so you don't miss any of the newest videos, where I may even talk about your team next. But anyway, back to the video. Now, I know this kinda sounds like an outrageous take, that something that would come off of First Take or like ESPN, where Kendrick Perkins or Stephen A. Smith says some wild shit. But trust me, bro, I got sources. So, let's start with one of the newer cases, in which Zion Williamson was a gift to the Pelicans after they lost Anthony Davis. Now, when the Pelicans jumped up almost the entire lottery and ended up with the first pick at only 6% odds, you can't tell me that's not a bit suspicious. I mean, with major rumors that AD was pissed at the org and that there was a good chance that he was leaving this summer, Adam Silver knew what he had to do to keep people caring about the fucking Pelicans. So on May 14th, the NBA rigged the lotto to have the Pelicans come out of nowhere and end up winning it. Oh, and what do you know? Anthony Davis got traded from the organization exactly 1 month later. If that ain't sus, I don't know what is. It's not even the first time this happened with the organization, as in 2011, a disgruntled star asks for a trade from the then Hornets and ends up in an LA team. Sound familiar? It keeps going, because after this star, aka Chris Paul, leaves, the organization ends up with the first overall pick in the very next lottery. I mean, come on, NBA. If you're gonna pull this kind of stuff, make it less obvious. Next, we'd have the 2008 lottery, where Chicago landed their hometown boy in Derrick Rose with 1.7 odds. Like, what the actual fuck? How do you explain that one, NBA? And I'll tell you why they did it. It's because ever since Jordan got old in the early 2000s, the Chicago Bulls kinda really sorta sucked ass. And because Chicago is such a big market, the league had to make them good again. So, when they saw a young man from Chicago coming up, that was an opportunity for them to send a little first pick their way.
I remember how it felt when I got that fresh cut, new outfit. A-Town fitted, got a bent to the same side. I'm leaning in the coupe, leaning in the coupe with. Clicked up with the squad, hey, you seen us? Listen to the music, pay attention to the genius. I took some time off, but I came back. I apologize for the sudden inconvenience.
And if you still don't believe me, I've got something all you skeptics cannot deny. And that is when the Camby Mutumbo went ahead and leaked the 2016 NBA lottery winners. I mean, yeah, the Sixers may have had the best odds in the draft, but what I'm talking about is how Mutombo made a tweet congratulating them for winning the lottery hours before the draft was announced, which they did end up winning. So kinda even more really sus. And maybe, just maybe, the big man was pre-writing the tweet in case the Sixers did win so that he was ready, and accidentally clicked send instead of just putting it in the drafts, which could likely have been the reason. I mean, especially since like he's like a very old person, you know, something he'd do. But for the sake of the video, we'll just say he leaked the message and the NBA's rigged. Next on the list of suspicious draft lottery activity is the good old Cavaliers, where the organization somehow got 3 first overall picks in 4 years. I mean, explain that one, David. When the greatest player in history leaves a team, it becomes really hard for that team to just recover and, be good again. So, the NBA told Dan Gilbert, don't worry, little bro, we got you. And just handed them 3 first overall picks in 4 years. But, I don't think that was always the plan. Because they got Kyrie with one of them, and the other would become an Andrew Wiggins, who would be traded for Kevin Love. And they used Kevin Love and Kyrie to lure LeBron back to Cleveland. So, I guess it ended up working. But here is where I saved the best conspiracy for last. And what I'm talking about is the 1985 Patrick Ewing incident? Flashback to 85, where cocaine is thriving in baseball, Gorbachev becomes the Soviet leader, and Marty McFly made his first appearance on the big screen. But more importantly, it was the first time that the NBA decided to hold a draft lottery to determine the first overall pick. But this is a bit different than what you're used to, because back in the day, they just spun a wheel with different cards inside of it. And so, it just so happened to occur in the Felt Forum. And guess where that is? That's right, New York City. And guess which team had the 3rd worst record that season? That's right, the New York Knicks. And with the only other teams having a worse record being a small market Warrior and Pacers team, it was kinda obvious who was gonna get it. But this is where 2 major theories come into the situation. And one is that the NBA made the Knicks card colder by putting it in the fridge before, so that David Stern could differentiate it from the rest and just grab it. But it wasn't guaranteed to stay cold. So the NBA also decided to have the Knicks card bent on the corner so David Stern wouldn't mess it up. And the reason they did this is the reason they do anything. So that big markets thrive in this league, since they bring in the most money. And if I'm being honest, I made this video because I think that the Lotto conspiracy is going to continue this season. Because I have the New York Knicks jumping all the way to first overall with only 2% odds. And you cannot tell me that is stupid, because teams with lesser odds have literally won. So,